when this recovery point was created. And again, I can do that for multiple times, obviously. Now I go back to my files here, and what I'm going to do here in my research folder, I'm just going to now accidentally delete folder D. So folder D is now deleted with all the files in there. Now let's switch back to my server to actually show you that. So I'm here on that server, and if I go to my E drive, you can see here I have my folders research, and again you can see folder D is gone. Now I want to restore that. I can simply open up the Azure Backup console here, and you can see here I can find the same information here. And now I can click on recover data. I can say, okay, I want to recover from this server, just files and folders. So I don't want a whole drive. I just want to have some files from that. You can see here it was bold marked my last recovery point. You can also have, again, if you have multiple of these will show. And now it will basically open up that recovery point and mount it. And now I can go and see that mounted recovery point. So if I click on it, you can see here folder D is now here in this recovery point. So I can do a copy and then simply go to my server, go to research, and then basically just go and paste folder D back. And so my folder D is now restored. I can also unmount the recovery folder or the recovery mount point, and my files are available again. So this was Azure Backup. Again, there are multiple scenarios you can use that. However, there is even more. So we can also leverage this, Azure Site Recovery for disaster recovery. So what we can do here is we can actually replicate physical and virtual machines running on Hyper-V and VMware to Azure to then actually have a failover region basically available. So in this scenario, I'm going to show you here with Azure Site Recovery. You can see on the left side, I have my on-premises environment, which is basically, for example, in this case, a web app. So we have a IIS web server, and we have a database server, and we use Azure Site Recovery here to replicate it through Azure. And in case of a disaster, we can then go and fail over our virtual machines to Azure. So in this case, you can see on the right side, it would then have my web server and my SQL server restoring or recovering in Azure. And if we then have a service in front of it called, like, for example, Traffic Manager or Front Door, or depending on your architecture and your scenario, in this scenario, we would have, for example, Traffic Manager. We would just basically switch the routing, the DNS routing, from the location from our on-premises primary side to our Azure failover side, and the application would be available for the end users again. So absolutely great service. So let's go into a quick summary. So what we have seen so far is how Tailwind traders can use Windows Admin Center to consistently manage Windows Server workloads in a hybrid cloud environment. So you can take advantage of Windows Admin Center. You can basically go out and use that today. Even if you're not working with Azure, Windows Admin Center is a great management tool for Windows Server. We also saw how Tailwind traders can take advantage with Azure Arc and basically connect servers to the Azure control plane with Azure Resource Manager and manage them if they're running in Azure, on premises, or even at other cloud providers. We also had a quick look at Azure Stack HCI, our hyper-converged infrastructure solutions, which is a great solution if you do virtualization in your own data center. We had a look how Tailwind traders can make their file servers more efficient using Azure FileSync. And then we had a look at how Tailwind traders can take advantage of the cloud for the disaster recovery strategy using Azure Backup and Azure Site Recovery. So here are some additional resources. So again, I spoke about Windows Admin Center. I spoke about Azure Arc enabled servers, Azure Stack HCI, Azure FileSync, Azure Backup, and Azure Site Recovery. So we put all the links here together for you. So you have aka